welcome to the podcast. My name is David Lawler. This is the David Lawler Podcast, recording from beautiful Studio 4. My voice is a little messed up. I have to apologize for that. It's been a bout. Get up this morning and I'm in the bathroom like constantly because of stomach problems, and my stomach is almost feels like it's on fire, and I just vomit, and I kind of messed up my voice a little bit, so I can't hit certain notes. Apparently, I can't really, it's a little weird. It's been a weird night actually, because right before I come down, start to record and everything, and I got to take some garbage out because it's Monday after a holiday. So I have to get the garbage out there. I'm just about to go out and do that, and then suddenly there's a really violent altercation that's going on in the street. And me being a conscientious New Yorker, I tend to ignore it, and then maybe it'll go away. It was really disturbing, actually, because my wife and my daughter were trying to sleep, and they're woken up. They're kind of shaken by this whole thing. My wife comes in and says, "There's a really nasty fight going on out there," and so I go out there. Well, I didn't go out there. I just went to the window because, I'm a spectator. I enjoy this kind of stuff. It's fun. It's a form of entertainment for me. And I'm hearing a lot of like loud stuff. I'm hearing "fuck you" and all this, and lots of motherfucker this, motherfucker that. And it is like three black people. I'm going to assume a big black guy and two small black women. And he's like, I look out there, and like the garbage that I've put out there earlier is scattered all about the street, so then I got to go and clean it up. And my next door neighbor's garbage is also scattered and messed up. It's pretty nasty. And it was just an incredible, violent situation that was occurring. He was like throwing this woman around, and it got worse. It apparently got worse, But when I get over there and I get a look, he's I guess finished with whatever arguing he was involved in, whatever the situation was about. I'm guessing it's a pissed off boyfriend. I think I was talking to David Anderson about this right before I got on the show, and I said probably a pissed off boyfriend, holiday stress, things like that. I don't know, whatever it is, but it was pretty intense. I mean, I've seen worse actually. I saw the funniest thing, and you tend to not see these things in other places except New York. I remember like when our first year living in New York, we were living in a high-rise on the 11th floor of a building on 14th Street and 3rd Avenue, across the street from the old Variety Theater. I don't know if it's still there anymore, but there was such a nice theater over there. And they had spotlights and everything. And they used to shoot commercials and stuff and little things like that. And, a lot of money being spent. Anyway, there was a fruit stand that was like 24 hours, and it was open on the corner. This was 1988. And it was like, I want to say the dead of winter, maybe a month into us living there, maybe March or February, end of February, early March. But it was still cold because that's just how it is in New York. And I'm looking out there, hearing like shouting and everything. And you can only look from the 11th floor. You can't really get involved. So, I think I saw two figures arguing at the corner of the vegetable stand. One figure picks up an enormous watermelon, I think, and then walks away. And then I think maybe 30 seconds later comes back with the watermelon and smashes it over this guy's head or something. And the thing of watermelon isn't exactly, it might cause some damage, I guess, but at a short distance, lobbing it at someone's head, it's just going to burst the watermelon. There'll be delicious watermelon all over the street. And I don't know, maybe a minute later a cop car shows up, and then there's conversation. I guess it's loud enough that I can catch a little bit of it from 11 floors up. But I guess people are just very loud. This was a little bit different because I guess it was you have the big black guy, motherfucker this, fucking bitch. She's, I guess, sobbing uncontrollably. He finally, after he has successfully scattered our garbage, because that's really all that he set out to do, is scatter our garbage, yes. Gets into a fight with his girlfriend or whatever. I think they were all friends, and I think they were out seriously to have a good time. And then, unfortunately, you get a little too much of the alcohol in you, and then you wind up saying and doing things that, I can only hope apologies will be volleyed back and forth. Well, mainly I hope it's from the guy because he was a big guy. This is a big guy, and these women didn't look all that big. And I think there was the one woman that was there with her was her friend, and this guy, because they knew each other. I mean, it was just, you don't get that angry unless it's that personal. That's just how it is. That's how I see it. I mean, I've been involved in some intense verbal sparring. It's been a while since I've been involved in a physical altercation, like a really long time. So, I guess after tossing her around, I did see that much. I saw enough of that. He tossed her around a lot. And he was tossing around the other woman. And it's just really, woo. It's like the culmination and expression of the id. I don't want to over-intellectualize it too much because we are animals, all of us. But there's something deep and primal about this kind of hate, this kind of anger. Anger lead to hate, hate lead to aggression. I can't really do Yoda right now. My voice is killing me. If I keep going at this rate, I'm going to wind up sounding like Frank Oz for the rest of my life. And I mean normal Frank Oz, where he just sort of sounds like this all the time when he's directing, you know? You should go over here and do that, and then go over here and do this, and good take that was. He's a fine director, Frank Oz. Okay, so I'm at the window. I'm looking. I got my popcorn there, you know, chomping down. This is a popcorn movie we're watching, right? And I'm thinking in the back of my head, maybe if I could just, like, throw... I got the craziest thoughts in my head. He's there for a little while. He must have been there 30 seconds shouting, and I couldn't see the other two. I think they were sitting on the stairs. I don't think they live here. It's a funny thing. I know the people who live next door. These people did not live here. And they don't, you know, I mean, they would pick up the trash if they did. Conscientious neighbors behave conscientiously. So I'm thinking in the back of my head, maybe I can pee into a cup and throw it on this guy. Anything that gets him out of there. You know, I don't know about human urine. Maybe cat urine. Cat urine would totally, I mean, like, that would harsh his mellow. He'd be like, you know, he would smell of urine. He would probably want to get the hell out of there. Something like that. If I had some kind of a water pistol, and I was thinking in the back of my head, where, I know I have like 1 or 2 water pistols. Maybe they're down in the basement or something like that. Grab a water pistol. I don't know. Fill it with something terrible like vinegar, right? And then just spray this guy. Maybe he'll leave. Or maybe lighter fluid or something. I don't know. It's something that's going to be pungent enough to just get this guy out of here. I don't, you know, we all have hard days. We all have rough days. But I think the majority of us, we really do try not to make it anyone else's problem when we have a bad day. The people who aren't civil, and this guy was I think he was an animal. I really do. He wasn't civil. He wasn't behaving in the kind of civilized capacity. He's not anything you want to present to aliens from another planet about how wonderful, gifted, and evolved we are. This guy was an animal. He was an animal. The man is an animal. Ripping out phones, urinating on desks, hostages strapped to tables as shields. The man is an animal. He's just sick. That was Bill Murray from Quick Change. Fun movie. So, just as I'm contemplating all of this, what to do, what kind of horrible fluids I can unleash upon this unsuspecting journeyman. He walks away. He runs away. He kind of like glides away because he knows he's making a scene. And my wife and daughter are just waiting there, and they're just like, "So what happened? What's going on?" And I said, "Well, he ran off." And now she's sobbing hysterically. This woman, there's 2 women, and she's sobbing hysterically to the other woman. You know, I don't know why he's behaving this way, I think is what she said. I don't know why he's acting this way. What happened to him or something? So it's obviously, these are people who know each other. I think they were out, maybe had a few drinks, and maybe something got ugly. Maybe he caught her with another man. Maybe he caught her with another woman. Maybe that other woman is the other woman that he caught her with. Maybe she caught him. Whatever it is, you introduce booze into the situation, you're going to get that. Booze is best left away from groups of people. It's, you know, we should all follow the George Thorogood line of logic when it comes to alcohol. We should all drink alone. and contemplate. Sit by a fireplace and contemplate with a little glass of whiskey, Scotch whiskey, and some ice. Listen to a little cello in a darkened room with a glass of port, or perhaps a Merlot, a nice red. Avoid the whites. Avoid the white wines unless you're going to spend some money. We picked up some Coppola Sauvignon Blanc because I was curious, because I've heard good things about Coppola. Little digression on the wines. I do enjoy my wine. I have a box of wine. Frenzia, which I had found out recently. I think one of the brands of Burgundy of theirs was tainted with arsenic. And luckily, it didn't get to mine. And maybe that's why I was sick. Hang on a second. Something's wrong on Saturn III. I think I got sick. So, anyway, when it comes to the whites and you're going to a liquor store, try to find some of the better quality stuff. California white, good. Chilean white is very good. New Zealand white is very good. Australian white, not as good. Not as good. You want to go, I mean, if for some reason when you're shipping the wine, it winds up being cheaper than anything that's imported domestically, say, like upstate New York, like rye or Sullivan County wines can be very, very expensive, but they can also be very, very good. But most of your good stuff is going to come from California, Chile, or New Zealand. Anyway, I think the Coppola vineyards are in California, and I picked up a Sauvignon Blanc. It was pretty pricey, but I thought, nothing's too good for my wife because she enjoys the Sauvignon Blanc. She's not a big red wine fan. I drink the red wine. I like the taste, and also it's really good for you. It's supposed to be really good for you. So, what was I saying? Yeah, drinking alone, probably the best thing to do. The only thing you're going to do, you're going to knock around some furniture. You might smash a mirror. You might cause a little bit of property damage, but it'll be your own. You won't give anybody a black eye, which I hope is a good thing. I don't want to go into the day thinking, who am I going to beat the hell out of today? Who am I going to knock around and throw around? This guy was vicious. I hadn't seen this level of anger in a long time, and I think, again, if I have to do this, I'm going to keep harping on this issue. There's something wrong with men, and we are seeing a lashing out of an id here. We get a lot of angry women, sure, that happens, but men, for the most part, are like chained bulldogs, and you're constantly poking them with a fork. So imagine you have an enormous bulldog over in the corner, and you got a fork in your hand, and he's chained, and he can't move 1 foot. He can move maybe 1 foot. That's it. And you just reach out, just keep poking that thing. Just keep poking that thing for like hours on end every day for a month. Poke. Make sure they feel it too. Make sure they feel something. And so they always have it in their head. This is the guy. He's poking me with a fork. He's poking me with a fork. He keeps doing it, and he won't stop. It's like a form of torture, right? And this is what's happening to men now. Now they're being chained up and poked with forks. You let that chain go. You unhook that dog, and he's going to rip your throat out the next time he sees you. And he might not even just rip out your throat. He'll rip out anybody's throat that they see. Whoever they see. So that's what I was thinking about with the anger. And this guy, just, wow. I mean, it was like really something. This is 2017. This is 2017. You don't see this kind of shit in New York anymore. New York is completely sedate. It's been rendered docile. It's been given an overhaul, a makeover, It's stuff you don't see anymore. So I'm thinking, okay, all right, maybe my wife and daughter can go to bed now. Maybe it'll die down in 15 minutes. I said she's probably going to be there for another 15 minutes with her friend talking about this until they finally leave, because I'm convinced they don't live on this block. Because if you do live on this block, if you're going to be involved in something like that, you're going to move to another block, because you don't want to embarrass yourself. You don't want to embarrass your neighbors. You don't want to create a stink or a situation that's going to be really hard to explain away. Right. So then what happens? Okay, I go and I get ready. I'm still prepping for the show. And then Regan, my daughter, comes out and says, the cops showed up. I said, really? That was quick. And it had to have been about less than a minute, I think. Somebody called the cops. Either one of the ladies in question called the cops and they showed up, or one of our neighbors called the cops and they showed up. Maybe I'm just so jaded that I just don't think they care anymore. But it's nice to know they do. Actually, some of the cops, I gotta tell you, some of the cops are the nicest people in the world. It's wonderful. Our cat, I mean, Sushi was rescued by cops. I mean, she was stuck in an SUV, an enormous SUV engine block, and I was trying to get her out. Me and all these cops they show up. We're just trying to get a cat out of a car. They run the plates on the car. They get the owner. The owner comes over, unlocks everything, opens up the trunk, opens up the roof, the hood. We pop it. We take a look. We're trying to figure out, okay, what's the best way to get to this cat? How the hell did this cat even get in there? Finally, I lock eyes with her, and there she is. And then eventually she becomes our cat, and the newest member of our family. And it was because of these cops. And I was thinking, we weren't going to name her Sushi. The reason we named her Sushi is because my wife was going out for sushi at the time that we spotted the cat stuck in the SUV. But I was thinking, like, if I had gotten any one of those cats first, one of the cops' first names, I would have named the cat after one of those cops because they were wonderful people. They were very wonderful and really shocking and really incredible to see that these guys actually come out. And they're there. I mean, there were two cop cars, two cop vehicles, not necessarily cars. They looked like they were trucks, and they were there for this poor woman. I really hope that she doesn't have to go home to anything terrible. That's you got to try and be happy, and you got to try and make at least somebody else in this world happy. And so I listened to the lady giving statements to the cops. He tried to choke me. He was choking me, blah, blah, blah. He was grabbing, and she's crying. She's hysterical. They're taking the statements and everything. I really hope that she is not one of these women that believes that this is some sort of emotional validation to get knocked around by a man. I want her to give the cops an account of him. I want the name, the address. I want it taken. I want those cops to go there. People shouldn't behave like that. You don't take the law into your own hands, as Doug Llewellyn says. You take them to court. So I was going to talk about something else, but I wound up talking about this. But I'm glad I got it off my chest because it's good to get a story in once in a while. It's, it still amazes me why people do the things they do. And I will talk about that at some point. That will be an episode. Motive. Why do people do the things they do? But for now, I'm Dave Lawler bidding you adieu and have a better one, as they say.